Hello, I'm Steve Evans, one of the directors at Accountests. This is part one of two videos covering the interpretation of the Appq personality questionnaire. So I'm assuming that you have a candidate report in front of you, or you've actually downloaded the sample report from our website. If you've done neither, that's no problem, because actually we're going to run through one on the screen as we go through this video. First thing to note is that Appq has been designed to be readily interpreted by you, but most clients want some guidance and pointers once they get started with adding personality profile into their hiring processes, and this series of two short videos is going to do just that. This video takes you through the introduction to Appq, covering pages 3 to 7 of your report. So let's start with a reminder of the behaviours associated with success in accounting that your Appq report is measuring. So first up, we're looking at accounting ethics, which is just performing work to a consistently high standard and upholding accounting professional ethical responsibilities, even when challenged by people who want shortcuts or to make unethical or even illegal requests. Relationships is looking at establishing and maintaining effective working relationships with others by becoming trusted advisors able to add tangible value to clients and businesses and value colleagues within your business. Thinking is covering whether your candidate can confidently apply existing knowledge to new situations. Do they see change as an opportunity or a threat? And are they focused on operational details or able to add creative strategy to your business and also your clients' businesses? Can your candidate cope with the challenges presented by difficult people or situations is effectively the core of the coping traits, along with changing demands in an accounting world and the obstacles that get in the way of what we want to achieve. So pages 4 and 5 of your report cover how the 4 accounting traits relate to the broad Big 5 personality traits and how in turn they relate to the individual 15 personality traits in the Appq report. All relate to both the Big 5 model and also the accounting traits. Now, we've mentioned Big 5 quite a bit. If you have experience of using Big 5 based personality profiling assessments already, this is going to be helpful in matching Appq against the kind of personality questionnaires you've used in the past. If this is the first time you've seen a Big 5 model personality profile, don't worry about it. We're going to cover it in all the detail you need. The key thing to keep in mind from this page is that, like most things in life, personality traits overlap and certainly don't take place in isolated silos. Just note how the ethics and relationships accounting behaviours overlap to account for maintaining ethical standards being dependent on whether your candidate can raise ethical concerns with assertive people. Similarly, being confident in one's intellectual abilities spans both the thinking and the coping traits. How the individual traits measured by Appq interrelate with each other is often much more important than how they operate in isolation. So your report includes interview questions to address potential concerns with your candidate to enable you to uncover whether they're aware of their personality and what they can do to adapt their preferred behaviours to suit different situations and different people. So let's just move on to page 6 of your report and pick out a few key points about personality profiling in general. Firstly, whilst Appq passes stringent measures in its reliability and validity as a psychometric assessment, no personality report can predict job success with certainty, and you should not use this or any other personality assessment to make a hiring decision or promotion decision in isolation. Appq works at its best when it's used as all strong personality questionnaires should be used, which is as an indicative guide to build up your next interview with your candidate and their referees. Your candidate's profile identifies their preferences for behaving and responding to different situations and people in an accounting and bookkeeping work environment. Your job now is to uncover whether your candidate is aware of their preferences and can adapt them depending on different situations, not to reject somebody because they have an alarming preference that seems to counter what you see as essential in your accounting vacancy right now. To enable you to do that, we first need to get you familiar with the Appq personality profile scores, the norm group against which your candidate has been measured, and whether your candidate has completed the questionnaire in an open and honest manner. So we're going to scroll you down onto page number 8. And you can see that the Appq report measures your candidate's responses to the questionnaire across 15 behavioural traits associated with success in accounting and bookkeeping roles. Each trait is measured on a 10-point scale, and your candidate's score in each trait is displayed as a blue dot on that 1 to 10 scale. Your candidate's profile has been derived by comparing their responses against a norm group of 324 international accountants and bookkeepers. You should view this norm group as the applicant pool in your country and your candidates' scores as how they are likely to behave compared to other accountants and bookkeepers that might be available to you in that applicant pool. Scores of 1 to 3 report an increasing preference to the left-hand behavioural description, while scores of 8 to 10 report an increasing preference to the right-hand description. Scores of 5 and 6 indicate a neutral preference for either side of each scale. Do keep in mind that a score of 7 is not one better than a score of 6, but merely reflects a point on a scale with potential strengths and concerns which are covered in the strengths and challenges, interview questions and professional development sections of your report. But before we look at your candidate's profile, there's an important step to take. As you may know, good personality questionnaires have measures built into them to detect whether a candidate is responding in a candid and open manner, or whether they are trying to create an impression of someone they want to be by stage managing their responses to increase their attractiveness as a candidate. Appq has these impression management scales included, and you can find your candidate scores at the foot of page 7 on your report. Firstly, you're going to see a social desirability score. Scores of 1 to 3 indicate that your candidate has completed the questionnaire in a notably open and honest fashion, with no attempt to manage the impression they are making. Scores of 5 and 6 indicate your candidate has managed the impression they are creating to an extent typical of most accountants and bookkeepers. In both cases, you can be confident that the profile is a true reflection of how your candidate sees themselves. Scores of 8 to 10 indicate that your candidate has either put notable effort into creating a favourable impression, or that they are genuinely that good a candidate. When faced with candidates with high social desirability scores, you should pay careful attention to whether your candidate brings the same approach to their interview by skirting around or avoiding difficult questions, and just be prepared to persist with probing questions to uncover the information you need. Social desirability scores of 9 and 10 do call into question the integrity and value of the whole Appq profile and report. The other impression management scale on page 7 is a central tendency scale, which measures how frequently your candidate used non-committal middle responses to the items in the questionnaire. Low scorers have responded in a definitive manner, while high scorers have either genuinely mild views on most things or have been reluctant to reveal things about themselves when completing the questionnaire. With high scorers, using the same approach of paying careful attention to whether your candidate brings that same approach to their interview by skirting around or avoiding difficult questions and being prepared to persist with probing questions to uncover the information you need is recommended. Central tendency scores of 9 and 10 also call into question the integrity and value of the whole Appq profile report. Now you've watched this one, I recommend you move on to stage 2, where we're going to run through the actual all of the individual traits.